Alright, hello friendos, I'm back for another video. This is going to be a quick best versus budget. This time on Mayhem Berserker. This is one that I get questions about quite often in my pugs. People always ask about my build. Right now this is the standard 5x3 build that most Berserkers run, which is going to be Mayhem 3, Grudge 3, Keen Blunt 3, Master's Tenacity 3, and Raid Captain 3. This is a fine setup, of course, but it's pretty expensive considering Mayhem 3, Keen Blunt, Grudge, all very expensive engravings, and then Master's Tenacity and Raid Captain obviously cheap. And Crit Swift Split, about 60, 65 crit, and then the rest Swift. So let's do a couple DPS tests. I'm only going to do two, because they're going to be minute-long ones. Going to do 2 minute-long ones with the regular setup first, proc everything, make sure everything's good. And then I'm going to try to do the same rotation pretty much for both, etc. So the only variance is going to be crits. You know the drill if you've watched these before. And if you have any requests for classes to make these kind of videos on in the future, let me know, because I enjoy looking at cheaper alternatives for almost the same output, if not in some cases better output. But we're underway here. Not much to say, just swinging my hot dog at this big man. Get one more of these in. And a Tempest Slash to finish it. So we got 234 mil, 75% crit. Alright, let's do another one. And then I'll switch to my build after this, which is going to be the cheaper build. Obviously, I think it's going to perform slightly worse than this, but it is the cheaper build for a reason, right? And I don't think the performance is going to be significantly different. If anything, I think it'll be mostly up to the crit variation and what hits crit and what don't, rather than the build just doing a percentage amount less damage. Okay, 232 mil, 75% crit. Alright, so we got pretty much the same results both times we did it with the 5x3 standard build. So now I'm going to swap over to my build. It's nothing crazy. My build is just Mayhem 1 and Cursed All 2. Why is this cheaper? Well, for obvious reasons. Not having Mayhem 3 means you only have to buy one Mayhem 5 accessory, which are much cheaper than Mayhem 3 accessories to begin with, because a lot of people run Mayhem 12 book and then a +3 accessory. And Cursed All, for some reason, seems to be very cheap on our servers as an engraving. So Cursed All is basically worth nothing. So this is essentially a free engraving. So now we have 3 free engravings, 2 expensive ones, but Grudge you book anyways. And Keen Blunt is just expensive no matter what. But Keen Blunt paired with Raid Captain or Master's Tenacity or Cursed All can be a bit cheaper than if you had to pair it with like Mayhem or Grudge. So let's take a look at the 2 tests we're going to do with this build now, which is the cheaper build. I expect to see similar performances, like I said, the main difference just being variation in what hits crit. Because if both hits of a finished strike crit in one run, but they don't crit in another, that's going to be a massive damage difference. even if the crit rate is similar, which is why I always say take Trixie on testing with a grain of salt, because it's a useful tool, but it's not the only tool you should look at, right? Yeah, see, my build actually outperformed it on the first test. People always question my build because they see Mayhem 1 and ask, am I dumb? But Mayhem 1 is real. Trust. And if you're 5x3 Berserker, this is the cheapest way to do it for now. And then when we get Ancient Accessories, you can also go Mayhem 1 is your +1, and then 5x3 with Karstal. Mayhem +1, which is what I think I'm going to do. Just because I think it's comparable and cheaper. Okay, last test. And again, if you have any suggestions for classes you'd like me to see a video on this about, hit me up. I like doing these things. I like theory crafting, and I like testing things. As much as I like just following guides and listening to what people say, I'm definitely one of the people who'd like to get in there and just test forever and find weird things that work. But it's like I always say in these videos, things are meta for a reason. It's because they're the best. But sometimes it's not realistic to go for meta on every single character, especially if this is like your 6th ult. If you're losing a little bit of performance for saving like half the cost, I would go half the cost every time. And you see I did another 237, 72% crit. Like I said, the variation between the two, in my small sample size, both my 4x3 +2 +1, which is, I'm just going to call it 5x3 because that's what it is. Both my build runs outperformed the standard 5x3 with level 3 Mayhem. Doesn't surprise me, like I said, it's just going to be variation at the end of the day. Go whatever's cheaper. I just like making these to, you know, let you guys know that there are cheaper options out there if you look. Alright. Like the video if you like the video, dislike it if you dislike it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to subscribe. Bye!